Hey, what's up, goalies? Today we're going to be talking about finding the proper sized goalie stick for yourself or your netminder. Today there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to finding the right size goalie stick. I see so many youth goalies get on the ice and their stick, their paddle is just way too big for them. Oftentimes I see new goalies and new goalie parents going into the hockey store and grabbing a stick, getting in their stance and trying to size their stick that way. In reality, the only proper way to size your goalie stick is to get down on your knees and see where your blocker position is and your blade position is in the 5-hole while you're in the butterfly. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys today what it looks like to have a stick that's much too large for you and how it really throws your hands and your chest out of position. And then I'll also show you what it looks like to have a stick that's the proper size and the big differences there in our hand positioning, where our chest is lined up to, and how we cover the 5-hole.
So what I'm going to show you guys here first is a 27-inch paddle in this Sherwood, which is way too big for me. Throws my blocker way out of position, throws my elbow way out of position, and that's what I'm going to show you guys. In the stance, sure, I can lean forward with very little effort, be able to get the blade on the ice. Again, that is not the most important part here though, when we are looking for a stick that fits us correctly. So we'll go ahead and drive down the butterfly here. And what I want you guys to see, is just how far out of position my elbow is. We've almost got a straight line from my shoulder to my elbow. My shoulder's rolled back. It's very uncomfortable. It's forcing my chest way back, behind me, back towards my heels. At the same time, my stick, good, it's on the ice, but my blocker is kind of out into this area versus where I would want my gloves, right? We want to project out and over the puck. I can do that with my glove hand very easily, but my blocker is being forced up and out of position because of the length of this 27-inch paddle. Effectively, what we've done is open up a huge 6th-hole that's very difficult to be able to cover and squeeze and get that blocker in there because we're fighting the length of this paddle. And like I mentioned, when we're in the butterfly, we want to be able to project our hands out and over that puck, be able to project our blocker out and over that puck, take the ice away, take the angle away from the puck that's flying up at us off of the ice. So, really, ideally, I should be able to have a stick that allows me to project my blocker over the puck and still keep my blade in front of my 5-hole. In this case, with a too long of a paddle, I've got one option or the other. I can either have my blocker nice and square over the puck, project it over the puck, taking the ice away, or I can have my stick in front of my 5-hole, but I can't have both with too long of a stick. The other thing to note with a stick that's much too large, if I were to be deflecting the rebound on the left-hand side of myself, I can reach across that body, but again, now my blocker is up out of position. I'm now fighting my shoulder, fighting my elbow to reach across my body for the save, and I'm unable to get that blocker down and square over the puck. On the right-hand side, on a deflection, right, on a stick deflection, I'm coming across my body. Now, it actually becomes, you get to a point where it becomes very difficult to get your stick blade and your heel of your blade all the way to the toe of your pad. It actually becomes very difficult with a stick that's a little bit too big. I'm trying to come across here, and at some point, my shoulder and my elbow give out. They can only rotate so much. Even if I were to project the blocker like we want to do and come at it a little bit lower, now I can't even get the blade over to my pad, right, over to the toe of my pad. So I can either come all the way across to deflect this puck, throwing my stick way out in front of me, throwing my blocker out of position, throwing my shoulder and my chest back, right? This blade's too long, so it's pushing my chest back. Now I'm having to reach in an uncomfortable position. I'm off balance, and I can't control that rebound like I should be able to. Coming across the crease, coming across the net, I want to be able to lead with my hands, right? I want to be able to rotate my chest, rotate my blocker, rotate my glove, and bring it across my body. New age goaltending, we want to be able to project over that puck first, especially in tight. We're sliding across the net on a backdoor play. We're trying to slide to the top of the paint on a pass out or a rebound. Well, I want to be leading with my hands, but at the same time, I want my hand way over that puck. With a paddle that's much too big for me, this makes it very difficult to slide across the net and get square to it. I try to come across, great. I can have one option or the other. I can have my stick in good position. It's not bad positioning. Or I can have my blocker in good position, but have my stick way out off to the side. Unfortunately for younger goaltenders, what's going to happen is they will default to having their stick in a decent position with too long of a paddle, but their hands are going to lack. They're not going to be able to get their hands over the puck. Their hands are going to be way behind them with a paddle that's too big. I can't have both again. I can try to slide across. I can get my paddle and get my blocker there, but at the same time, Now my stick's out of position, and I'm gonna open up that 5-hole as I try to slide across the net. That's where the goalie stick paddle, that is much too big for me, all right? 27-inch is way too big. A 27-inch, in all honesty, guys, is too big for anybody that's playing the game right now. All right, guys, so let's move down a size to something that's a little bit more appropriate for me. This is a 26-inch in a CCM. This is still a little bit too large for me, all right? This is still a little bit too big, and I just want to show you a little bit of the difference between this and that 27-inch. So we go ahead and, again, the stance, not too shabby, not too much effort to lean forward and project, but as I drop down to the butterfly, take that ice away in the butterfly, again, we've still got not quite as high up with my elbow, but we still have that little bit of a straight line here where my blocker and my elbow's out of position. And again, I can feel that pull in my upper arm, telling me really that my blocker's up much higher than it needs to be. Remember, when we're in that butterfly, we want to have the chest leaning forward a little bit, projecting our shoulders out and over the puck. We also want to make sure that our hands are out in front of us and not up in the air, right? This isn't going to do anybody any good. At this point, you're taking the eyes away from the shooter, but you're not taking the eyes away from the puck. Again, this 26-inch, you can see right here, still a little bit too large for me. Still got a little bit of that 5-hole gap. I've got the blocker in good position here, but I can't have both. I can put it in the 5-hole, make a nice 5-hole save, but now I can't project the blocker where I need to be able to project it to make that save. So again, still 26-inch, a little bit large, a little bit better than the 27, but you can at least see a little bit of the difference there between the two. All right, guys, so let's step down one more size. I'm now in a Sherwood 25. I could even drop down to a 24 in all honesty, which would be really good for me, but right now I am in the 25. I'll show you again, in that stance, pretty good. I'm pretty confident that from this position, I can drive down in the butterfly, get the stick down to the ice to make that save. I'm not having to bend forward too far to get it onto the ice. I can project my hands a little bit more and keep that stick on the ice, but at the same time, I can also stay nice and high in my stance and still have the flexibility to move my stick where I need to. Now, oftentimes, I'm not making a save like this in my stance, so we'll go down to the butterfly. In this butterfly, guys, we can already see right now, much more comfortable for me. My shoulder and my elbow, pretty good position here. Again, I think I could go lower, maybe a 24-inch, but very good position in here. I don't feel that pull. I have a nice rotation back to my heel. This is great. I'm not having to lean back too far. I can still keep my chest forward while at the same time extending my stick out in front of me. That is huge. Make sure when you try these sticks out, you're able to do this. Your goalie is able to do this without having to lean back too far, right? Too big of a paddle, I'm having to lean way far back. On this side of my body, great rotation, chest over the puck. I'm able to also project the blocker at the same time if I need to, whereas if I was too big, too wide, too big of a paddle, I'd really be fighting that, and I'd really feel that pull in my rotation. So big difference already in this smaller paddle. Now, hand and blocker positioning. I don't have as much of that 6-hole anymore as I did with the 27 and even the 26-inch. I can keep the stick right in my 5-hole while at the same time still being able to project over the puck pretty nicely. I'm able to project. I'm still able to keep most of the blade in front of that 5-hole. Again, the puck goes further out to this side, and I want to project. Look at that great coverage, guys. Boom. Puck right to the blocker. If it comes this way to my 5-hole, I've got that save all day. On recoveries, backdoor, maybe a rebound out to the top of the paint, I want to be able to project my glove, my blocker over the puck, but also keep my stick nice and square in the 5-hole as well. So here's my projection. Perfect over the puck. Stick stays in pretty good position here for that 5-hole. Whereas just a reminder, if I was in a longer paddle, here's my blocker. Look at that stick blade now, way out of position from this 5-hole. Back down to the 25-inch, boom, perfect position over that puck. Nice easy push across, square to that puck the entire time. Stick blade, stay square in the 5-hole the entire time. So please remember, guys, in today's modern game of hockey, this is the only proper way to size your stick or your goalie stick to their height. There's no more going into the goalie shop, the hockey shop, just standing up in our stance and seeing where the stick falls on the ice. Not at all. In all honesty, you very rarely want to be able to be straight up in your stance and have that stick touch the ice. A little bit too long of a paddle, great, the stick's touching the ice, but my stance is relaxed, it's lazy. I can't get my hands out in front of me. I can't move from this stance. So the biggest misconception of new goalie parents and new goalies is that when they get into their stance, their stick, they should be able to be upright in their stance and their stick should be able to touch the ice. We want to be able to have the chest bent forward a little bit. We want to be able to project the hands off of the pad, taking up this extra space, no double coverage, right? No double coverage, and have the hands out in front of us so we can make that save. So in conclusion, guys, when you do make it to the hockey store, if you have a chance and they have synthetic ice for your goalie to put his or her pads on, definitely take the opportunity to do that, because the pads do raise you up a little bit in the butterfly. But at the very least, get your goalie to drop down to their knees. Bring in their blocker for sure, bring their glove, bring their blocker. Pretend that they're trying to project over the puck, and just make sure that if they can project out and over the puck pretty far, over exaggerate, that they can also keep their stick blade in that 5-hole at all times. We're basically in the era now, guys, where it's almost better to have your stick be a little bit too small than it is to be too big, especially for those younger goaltenders that are just developing. They're learning about hand positioning. They're learning about projecting their hands out and over the puck. They're learning about their proper stance and being able to bend forward a little with the chest and keep their hands in front of their pads at all times. It's a little bit better for those goalies to, learn the right way with a stick that's a little bit too small than it is to shoot them up into something that throws their hands way out of position and builds horrible habits by having their arm up this high. The stick is your greatest tool as a goaltender. Very, very important that you get the right size. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and pop them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. But this is the only proper way to make sure you are getting your goaltender in the correct size stick. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Keep your stick on the ice.